Him like a side piece, come in this truth plan and treat you like a side piece. He's the God of mercy and wrath. So do you want to fly or do you keep the Bible on cop? The Most High is my rock. TK. Rock. The Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock. My rock. The Most High is my rock. In the name of Messiah, the Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock. My rock. The Most High is my rock. Yeah. The Most High is my rock. I keep my Bible on cop. The Most High is my rock. No time for cupcake and the cutting. Hit the streets and start cutting. The Israelites are bubbling. The Israelites are coming. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. You can keep the stuffing. It's pagan, disdain, it's vain, it's nothing. The European Union about to hit the button. And I feel sorry for you if you think the Lord is bluffing. That's why I hit the booth and I tell the truth. Are you fishing with the truth? Homie, where's your fruit? If the Most High is your rock, don't treat him like a side piece. Come in this truth plan and treat you like a side piece. He's the God of mercy and wrath. So do you want to fly or do you keep the Bible on cop? The Most High is my rock. TK. Rock. The Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock.
Shalom, Israel. Shalom to everybody online. Welcome to another live class. It's Wednesday. We're here. It's 7 p.m. We're at 8524 South Braeswood Boulevard, Houston, Texas. 77071. As y'all already know, our class times are Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Monday and Wednesday from 7 to 10. Friday from 6 to 8. Saturday from 10 to 2. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. All right, so if you're local, join us. We got a school in Virginia. They're located at 2610 Granby Street, Norfolk, Virginia. Their class days are Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. All right, so if you're local in Virginia, feel free. We got a school in San Antonio. Their class times are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7 to 10. Come on, keep that over there. Saturday from 10 to 2. All right, so if you're in San Antonio, we're working on a building in Albuquerque. But for the time being, Mashaba has the Blog Talk radio that he does every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I believe. From around 10 o'clock to about 1. You can check that at blogtalkradio.com/Mashaba or /Mashaba, excuse me. It's a podcast, so there's a lot of classes on there from probably 8-9 years back. So you can check that out. You can check out our different avenues of getting the truth out. We got the 5 Minutes of Wisdom. We got the Hidden Truth Bible Show. We got the Israelite Media Corp. We got the ISBHPK Virginia, Houston, San Antonio, Albuquerque. So you can check those different YouTube channels out on ISBHPK Kids. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the different channels. We do have a feast coming up on the 26th of May. It's Feast of Pentecost or First Fruits. That's next week, huh?
Yeah.
Whoa. Today's the 20th? Today's the 20th. So, yeah, that's next Tuesday. Right?
Next Tuesday, yeah.
Next Tuesday. If you'd like to join us, feel free. We're going to be here at the school observing the High Holy Day. That's Tuesday the 26th. All right? So we'll do a class on Pentecost on Monday. Go over it for the new brothers and sisters. This might be their first year celebrating. So obviously we'll let you know what it is that you are celebrating, and then we'll have the feast the next day. If you need to reach a teacher, my phone number is 303-557-8979. I'm here in Houston. If you need to reach someone in Virginia, you can reach Priest Kazakia, 281-707-2737. You can check out our business. If you'd like to support, you can go to sweetambiance.com. All right. We deal with anything that smells good. Aromatherapeutic oils, body oils, body butters, lotions, all the smell good stuff. All right, so you can check us out, sweetambiance.com, online, on Instagram, on Facebook, Sweet Ambiance. You know, for everybody that's been giving donations, we appreciate it. Again, y'all know the situation. Our business is located in the mall, so even though the malls are trying to get back, it ain't happening. Not right now. It's a ghost town in there, and everybody look like Sub-Zero with the mask on.
Gone.
You know, so it's looking real. It's real spooky. So we appreciate. I'm saying that because we appreciate. You know, the ones that have been helping out. I mean, y'all basically have been holding down the school, the rent, the other expenses, the lights. So we definitely appreciate it. And I mean, I always said we couldn't do it without y'all. You know, so we appreciate for the last couple of months y'all taking on the burden of making sure that, you know, the school is taken care of first and foremost. So we appreciate that, the water, and you know, I gotta say it. If you know, if you know, we know that y'all are here for us. Just remember, we're here for y'all. So if y'all need anything, make sure you reach out. Make sure you let us know, and if we can help, we'll help. You know, we don't want it to be a thing where y'all think it's always about what y'all can give. But if there's something that y'all need, let us know. If we have it, it's yours. If we can help, we'll help. That's what we're here for. All right, so that's going to be it for the announcements. We got a good topic today, and y'all see the title. What is it? Why do I hate that I was chosen? Mm-hmm. Right. So you can title this class, "Why do I hate that I was chosen?" And you know, we talk about it a lot when it comes to looking at the parallels between our current life, our former life, and we try to project this future. And you know, a lot of the times, man, when we're dealing in the current present situation, we tend to drift back into time, and we do this. We play psychological mind games with ourselves, and we somehow convince ourselves that I was better off before I got the Bible, right? I was better off before you handed me a flyer, before I knew Christ was black. I was better off. Life was easier, and to a certain extent, yeah, it was. Actually, to the 100% extent, it was easier, because in that life of not knowing that Christ was black, not knowing that you were chosen, not knowing that you were an Israelite, you weren't really fighting for anything. You didn't have to wake up every day and really consciously say, you know what, I got to put in work now. You were just being carried with every breeze that was being blown. Whatever came your way, you said, you know what, I'm gonna go with that. Whatever happened, you went with it. So there was no care for the things that were going to happen the next day. There were no care for a vision. There was no foresight. There was no, let me take the time out to make sure that when I communicate, it's done the right way so I don't offend the person. You just said whatever came to mind, right? You just did whatever came to mind, whatever you felt, whatever felt good, whether or not if it was right or if it was wrong. So your former life was easier. Hell yeah. Because there was no type of obligation. There was no fight. There was no drive. Nobody had to pressure you to do the negative that we did. Right? Think about all the negatives that we felt. Nobody had to pressure us. Nobody had to correct you into smoking the blunt. Like, how many times did you have to be corrected on how to roll a blunt when you was doing it way back then? Nobody corrected you, right? Because there was no really right way or wrong way. As long as you could smoke it and get high, as long as you accomplished the feat,
they're like it's too
You kind of had to make sure
it had to be tight. Right, it had to be tight. But my point is, they just smoke loose blunts, B. That's my point. A nigga will smoke a loose blunt. You see what I'm saying? Like, nobody's sitting there like, oh man, that blunt's tight, get in order, brother. Or that blunt's loose, get in order, brother. Or sis, you riding on that pole wrong, sis. You doing it wrong. Like, nobody was doing that. in our former life, you didn't have to be coached into or corrected on how to do negative the right way, right? Negative was just negative. And you trick yourself and you say, well, it was better because there was nobody telling me nothing, right? There was nobody encouraging me. There was nobody giving me reproof, exhortation,
setting a standard
on how I was living my life before I got the knowledge. So what happens? You look back and you're like, oh, see, it was easier. It was less drama. It was less talk. It was less interference from outside people. And you convince yourself that that was a better life. And what you do is you fast forward to this time where there's, okay, we got to do it the right way. This is how we going to do it. We got to do this standard, this way. And what do you do? What do you do? Well, that's what we're going to explore. That's what we're going to explore when now let's do things in the spirit. Let's do things with a standard. Let's do things with love, with care. Let's do things with unity. That's a big thing. Let's do things with unity. Let's not be selfish. What do you do? And how do you show whether or not you love this life or hate it? There's some tells, right? We were talking about red flags the other day, right? Like how red flags be popping up.
Right.
The red flags are to not go that way. And, you know, there's a lot of little telltale signs that brothers and sisters, where they say, like you have a tell, like when you're playing poker.
Oh, yeah. The
like,
thing that lets people
let them know that you're bluffing.
You're bluffing.
Like you say, I'm going to call, and you start twitching in the eye. Right? Your eyes start twitching or your fingers start twitching. You have a tell. And a lot of brothers and sisters have tells when it's time to be corrected, when it's time to be shown that you may have a point when doing something, but it's not the complete right way. When it's time to snap out of your own mode of doing things and snap into, what were they talking about yesterday's class? Who watched it? One person. See, y'all gotta be on class. They were going through the body.
I watched it.
I said one person. Oh, 2 people. Okay. 2 people. 3 people. Right? 4 people. Y'all got to be watching these classes because you'll see they went over the different operations of the body last night. Now, if there's no unity, even in that, being individual members of a body, in order for everything to work, there has to be a unity there.
Yep.
Right? So this is what we're going to go through, man. We're going to go through and really explore, like, do you hate the fact that the Most High chose you to be an ambassador to bring forth the prophecies? Because that's all we're doing is bringing forth prophecy. That's all we're doing is living. We're living. If you want to call this a game, if this is a game to you, all you're really doing is living it. But on what side are you living it on? You Jonah? You Jonah? Or are you David? You Jonah? You Solomon? Who are you in this game of life, man? That we follow the guidelines through the scriptures. Who are you? And that's what you got to ask yourself. So let's get into it. What's the first scripture we're gonna go to?
I was gonna go to. We're gonna start off at Matthew chapter 10 and verse 34. Matthew chapter 10 verse 34. So we're gonna be going into one of the first things that happen, you know, when you learn about the truth. All right, go ahead.
Matthew chapter 10 verse 34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth.
So the first thing that we realize is that the Christ that they speak of in the world is not the Christ that the Bible speaks of. We realize that it's completely different, and that Christ is not coming to send peace. It's all about war. It's all about division and separation. Go ahead.
I came not to send peace, but a sword.
So Yahushua came to send a sword. Go ahead.
For I am come to set a man at variance against his father.
Go ahead.
And the daughter against her mother. And the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
And, you know, when you keep reading, right? See, when you read, you could read about a precept in this in Exodus chapter 32 when Moses came down from the mountain and we had built the golden calf, right? Moses had told the people, get your sword, and every man go and slew his neighbor. The reason why Moses told the people to do that was because when you doing that, those people that was around you, they made you worship Baal. In one way or another, they influenced you into worshiping Baal, right? So right here, Yahushua is saying that, no, you're not literally going to go and kill your people, but that separation has to be made. Why? Because the people that surround you, the people that's in the world, if you're not careful, the little bit of influence that they have on you, for some people it's a little bit, for some people it's a lot. But that influence will drive you into thinking like, damn, I miss my old life. I miss Christmas. I miss hanging around with mom and dad. I miss hanging around with my friends that I used to hot bots with. I miss doing all that. I miss being in the trap house. I miss going to the club, to the bar every night. I miss those things. So the Most High, when Yahushua came, he set that sword, and that sword was a separation. It was a division.
So pause real quick though.
What's up?
Because you're absolutely right. But just to get them involved and get them to think a little bit. Mm-hmm. So what's being divided? What are the two things that are? What is the one thing that's being split? Who knows?
Spirit and flesh.
No.
Your family.
But in what context? We know it's family because he said it. I'm gonna set a father against a son, mother against daughter. But what is being? The sword represents something being cut, right? Mm-hmm. Or separated or divided. What am I dividing?
Good and evil. What do you think?
Good and evil, right? But I want y'all to,
It's your thinking process.
It's your what?
Your thinking process.
I'm dividing thought processes, and I'm separating. He just said it, right? When Moses told him, "If you're with me,
right,
stand here. If you're with them, stand over there." I'm dividing thought processes, and I'm dividing. Yeah, then it goes down to what thought processes? Good and evil, right? Spirit and flesh. But the first and foremost is that I'm dividing you away from a certain process of thought. Remember, that's why I said you felt like you were better off before you knew Christ was black, before you knew that you were chosen, before you knew that you had a purpose. Mm-hmm. The thought process in the world is that I'm doing my purpose. My purpose is to smoke weed, wake and bake. That's my purpose. My purpose is to drink all day. My purpose is to chase guys, to chase girls. My purpose is to chase the bag. You're being divided from that mind state. That's what y'all got to see is it's a mind state that's happening. The sword ain't coming down and cutting nobody's arm off.
Right.
That's not what it was about. It was about dividing certain individuals away from a certain way of thinking. Now, is everybody sitting in class?
No.
The whole world ain't here, right? The whole world ain't online. So we were the ones that were divided away from them.
Right.
The sad part is we look at that, some of us look at it like it's a bad thing. Like you look at it like it was bad because you was divided from the filth. That's not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing. We look at it like, and I'm talking about how we look at things in retrospect. Like, man, I was going to be a Heisman Trophy winner in college. No, you weren't. And so what? So what? Or I was on my way to stardom. I was going to be a rapper. So what? Or I was going to be this profession. Okay. You can still do it with knowledge. But you were divided away from the filth and the pollutions of the world to preserve you for a purpose. And some people hate that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say also, you were divided from what you thought was right. Because when Yahushua divided you, when he set you apart, right? Then you started learning the word, and all of your decision making, it came from the book. Mm-hmm. Your thought process started coming from the book. So you got divided from a way that you thought was right. And for a lot of people, it takes time to really go in, to really let it just consume them and overtake them. So that's what we're going into this class. The title of the class is what does the title of the class do? I know we changed it.
Do I hate that I was chosen?
Yeah. Do I hate that I was chosen? Because in the beginning, when you first learn this word, before that switch really flips, when you first learn this word, you're like, man, why I got to do this? Why I got to do that? Your thought process isn't 100% lined up. As of, you don't understand why things are done the way things are done. You just don't 100% get it. So that's what we're gonna be going into with this class today, man. So
They want us to bring it out.
Bring it on.
Go ahead. Where we going? Where we at?
Ecclesiasticus 10 and 25.
Here it is.
Right?
Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and verse 25.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, verse 25. Unto the servant that is wise shall they.
Now, you got to think about it. You got to read it slow. It says to the servant that's wise. How many of y'all like discipline?
Nah.
Hey, that's
That's
one. And we got an honest answer.
That's a problem. That's a problem with Israel, though.
Gone.
That's a problem with Israel. The problem with Israel and discipline is that you hate discipline in the world and you hate it in the truth.
Gone.
You hated it. You hated it at your job. You hated it in school. That's why a lot of us didn't graduate. You hated it in every aspect. That's why we come up with shortcuts. I'm gonna shortcut my way through life because we hate to be disciplined. But think about it. Think about the other nations.
They're very disciplined.
Yeah,
In certain aspects.
they're very.
In certain aspects, they're very disciplined.
When it comes to handling business, they're disciplined.
Gone.
When it comes to handling their family, they're disciplined. We're the ones that slack off on every avenue, and then you start that mind state in little things, it goes into big things, right? Go ahead, read it one more time.
Oh, I was gonna say also when pertaining to discipline, right? It's a two-edged. I'm not gonna say it's a two-edged sword, but either way, you're gonna get disciplined. It's either you're gonna discipline yourself or the Most High will discipline you.
That's right.
And as we can see, the Most High disciplines us. So it's either if you're going through certain things, like say, for instance, your problem is food, you eating bad. Either you're gonna discipline yourself from eating bad, or diabetes, or high cholesterol, high blood pressure. Like it's what's up, boys?
The world has the same saying. It says if you don't change your life, the world will change you.
Con.
So it's the same thing, but that's the way the world says. That's how I do it.
Exactly, and when you look at us just being in the world, a lot of us we lack discipline. So I remember me in school, man. I'm a smart dude, but I was the kid where if I didn't want to do it, I'm not gonna do it. I remember getting a book my senior year in high school. It was like, read it, summarize it. I was like, I don't want to read this, so I'm not gonna read it. I'm gonna pass anyway.
You read the index in the back.
No, I don't do
The
that.
back page.
Yeah, you back page.
Yeah, but wasn't disciplined enough to just read the 3 pages.
You didn't even do that, huh?
Nah, I didn't even do that.
Yeah, lazy.
I knew I was gonna pass, so I didn't. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really care. But that's actually that is the problem right there. Is that a lot of us just don't care. We don't fully understand enough to care, and we don't have that love in us to care. So yeah, man, read that from the top. Ecclesiastes.
Actually, hold that. Go to Numbers. Hold that. Go to Numbers. 11 and verse 5.
Gone.
Yep.
Numbers chapter 11, verse 5. We remember the fish which we did eat.
Go to verse 6.
Verse 6. But now our soul is dried away.
Right.
There's nothing at all.
Go back. Go to verse 4.
Verse 4.
Right.
And the mixed multitude that was among them
Go ahead.
fell
Right.
a lusting. And the children of Israel also wept again and said, who shall give us flesh to eat?
Right. So y'all know this story. This was when we were pulled out of Egypt, and what were we doing at this time?
Murmuring, complaining.
Right, but yeah, we were definitely doing that, but keep it along the lines of what I just basically spoke on earlier. We were doing what? We were reminiscing. You said what? We like discipline, but what we were doing at this time, as we read on, you'll see we were reminiscing on a time that we thought was better. But really, was it? First of all, we got pulled out of a 10-day work week.
Gone.
Right? So, I mean, I don't even know how you calculate a 10-day work week. Like, what was your weekend like? Did you get a 2-day weekend?
You probably got 1 day off.
1 day off, right? If that. But you had a 10-day work week. Or they probably found it to where they know how to cycle you through the work, so you worked every day regardless.
Yeah.
10-day work week, couldn't worship the Most High, confined to one little piece of land, right? You are a slave. Most importantly, we were slaves. But we somehow convinced ourselves that the slave life was better than the freedom that we had currently because of things we didn't have.
Right.
We let our thought process be determined on what we don't have and what we have. That's our contingencies. And a lot of times when you start reminiscing, you're looking at, because I don't have certain things, like I feel like I don't have a voice. I feel like I don't have the opportunity to voice my opinion, or nobody's listening to me. It goes deeper than just not having a vehicle and a house and a car. I'm talking about spiritual things. Like, I got to be disciplined. So now I want to go back to where I was not disciplined or where I didn't have to. But think about it. What discipline do you need to be a slave?
There's none.
That's the point. That's why it's a psychological BS jargon game that you play. You play the game with yourself. We play with ours like, what discipline do you need for somebody to put you in check? How much discipline do you need for somebody to dangle the carrot? Put you in debt. You chase what is supposed to clear the debt. But they never give you the full debt clearing substance. They just keep you in a way where you got to keep coming back. Who needs discipline for that? It's not this. There's a different word that you put in place for the discipline. That's what you call desperation. That's what you call desperation. They make our people desperate, and then when you get into a situation where the Most High has freed you up here from being desperate, it's like you fiend to go back and be desperate. You don't know how to act. Read on.
Verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
We remember the fish.
You remember the what?
The fish.
Right? I remember the freedom. I remember when I was free, when brothers wasn't hitting me up to go do flyers and street speaking, and damn, man, class every other day. Jesus Christ, these niggas, man. Damn.
I don't know, like, I was free to work and then go home, play PlayStation, Call of Duty, watching movies with Rib, and then eat and fall asleep.
Yeah, and then do it all over again, and you thought that was life. Fish, freedom, go ahead, what else?
Which we did eat in Egypt freely.
No, but you didn't eat freely. There was a price for that.
John.
10 days of work. Serving with rigor. No different than here, man. No different than this life where you serve this life with rigor because they tell you there's two guarantees, taxes and death. They make it seem like there's nothing good to come from this life, and there isn't. There isn't unless you got the Most High on your side.
Right.
Yep.
And then when he is on your side, he's trying to show you, listen, I got it for you. I got you. Watch. You ain't got to worry. You ain't got to fret. You ain't got to lose your mind. You ain't got to go crazy. You don't got to get anxious. You don't have to get depressed. And you're like, no, I want to go be depressed again. No, I want to be under rigor again. Go ahead.
The cucumbers and the melons and the leeks.
Man, listen, you can replace all that stuff. You can replace the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks. You can replace that with whatever you want. The clothes, the cars, the women, the freedom to
The job.
The freedom to be able to dip around wherever I want to dip around. The lack of, because all it is equal to is a lack of discipline. That's all it is. Y'all, there's too much discipline in the Bible. There's too much standard. There's too much upholding a standard in the scriptures. And then now you want me to live like that? Nah, bro. I want to go be standardless. That's what we say to ourselves when you play this game. I want to be standardless.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a self-worth. So all I'm worth is the carnal things, the leeks, the fish. That's my worth. Go ahead.
And the onions and the garlic.
Yeah, man. Come on. Onions and garlic. Think about it now. You be buying onions and garlic. They sit in the fridge and spoil. You can't even go through the little bushel of garlic fast enough, right?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. All this in my fridge was spoiled.
All of this stuff sits in the fridge in a salad and spoiled. Right, except for the fish. You be eating the fish.
I don't know. I be eating onions. I stay on my onions.
But y'all see the point. These are the things that we were going to get in abundance anyway. So now let's take it back to freedom of mind, freedom of to be able to run around and associate with these type of people and this type of person.
Yeah.
Right? You still get that in the truth, just in a different capacity. See, you want the capacity to be like them. I want to be around my family because I want to be like my family. How about being around your family and being able to teach them?
Con.
But see, nobody wants to build themselves to that level. Because, and how do I know? Because when you get around them, you become them. They don't mimic you. They influence, you don't influence them. They influence you. And next thing you know, you sitting there like, damn, I want their life. Man, he pulled up in that. Man, how do I get that? You end up being where they are. How come they ain't piling up in the class? Where they at?
Yeah.
Where they at? Right? He got family. I got a family. I got a cousin that lives in Katy. He got sisters. He ain't got no family yet.
No.
Right?
Solo dolo.
Solo dolo.
No, y'all
But
my family.
Y'all ain't gonna catch me in Katy. Y'all ain't gonna catch me in Katy before my cousin is here. I guarantee you that one. I ain't gonna chase him. I'm not gonna go and conform to what they want before they conform to what I want. But see, I understand that. A lot of us don't get that. Wait a minute, I'm supposed to be changing lives. Why? Because you're missing. Why were you chosen? Why were you brought here? Were you brought here to hate it like some do? No. You could have just stayed where you was, man. Nobody needs. We don't need the emotion. The Most High don't need the emotion, right? What were you brought here for? See, no one looks past the greater purpose. You were brought here to have an effect on lives. But if you hate the fact that you were brought here to do that and you can't look past what you're missing out on or what you think you're missing out on, you're going to miss the whole... Look at Joseph. Was Joseph sitting back like, man, I remember the days when I was chilling with my brothers before they threw me in the pit, before they sold me off. Was he doing that?
Con. Nah.
No, he wasn't. Right?
Abraham wasn't either.
No righteous man was doing that. They accepted their condition and worked with it. Joseph accepted his condition and look what it brought. He saved his brothers in the long run because that was the purpose. Now imagine if he bitched and complained about what he was doing. Right. Imagine if he was locked up and he was sitting there crying and backbiting and murmuring and why I got to do this and why I got to do that and Yahweh, I hate you. He would not have been a benefit. Y'all see this, right?
Come on.
If he was sitting back talking about, man, I remember my coat of many colors, man. Y'all got me in these rags, Yahweh, but what about my coat, son? My coat. Right?
Nice coat.
It was.
What would he have lost out on?
Yeah.
His pops, right? His brothers. The rulership that he got anyway. All the things that he got from Egypt. He would have missed out on that because of the fact that he's looking at the current condition and trying to look back in retrospect that, oh, I was better off. Read on. I'm going to shut up. Read.
Verse 6. But now our soul is dried away.
Is it? How? Is it really? No, you know why it is though? Because the outlook. To the pure, all things are pure.
Yeah.
But to the defiled, there's nothing pure. To the disbelievers, yeah, your soul is dry. You're right. You out here getting dried up. You know why? Because when this word goes out and it rips through your whack-ass mind state, when it rips through that garbage thought process, it takes a piece of you. That sword rips through you and it rips a piece of flesh and spirit, like it says, right? And you do start getting dry. You do start getting tired. You do start getting weary. So you look at it like, man, with every correction, with every admonishing, with every reproof, even with corrective, what do I say? Constructive criticism, right? Where it's not even a reproof or a check. Even with an exhortation, you don't even know how to take it right.
Yeah.
Even when somebody's congratulating you, good job, you still have some little inkling in your mind that I got to rebuttal or be mad because they didn't congratulate me the way I wanted to be congratulated. So everything is taken from you. So you are dried up.
Yep.
If you hate this life, you are dry.
Yep.
Read.
You know another thing too. You got to look at. Hold on. Let me not jump. Read.
Read.
There is nothing at all.
There is what?
There is nothing at all
Uh-huh.
besides this manna
Really?
before our eyes.
Like, it's just manna? Like, you really got to think about it. Like, who else ate manna? Who else?
Nobody.
Like, what is manna? What is a fish compared to manna at this time? So I'm just using it at this time. You gotta see where their mindset is at. You got fish, cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, garlic. I don't even know what a leek is. But what is all this compared to a manna?
Leeks
It's
are like
nothing.
leeks are like an onion type of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but what is that compared to manna? Nobody else ate manna. So when you look at it in this time, it's like the stuff that we complain about. Oh, we miss the things back then. But who else? You're like, your soul's dried up because you're not doing the things that you used to do back then, or you're not living like how you used to live back then. But who else is getting this manna? Yes, it's just manna. It's simple as hell. But who else did the Most High see that was worthy to get this manna? Yes, it's manna, and it's very simple. It's good, but you don't see how it's not just the manna. You don't see how it's. Yes, the Most High removed you from all these things that you were doing, but you're looking at it like it's just this, but it's more than that. This manna is everything. The scripture talk about when you ate it, it tastes like whatever you wanted it to taste, right? So if you wanted fish, then guess what? The manna will be fish. If you wanted onions, if it was about the fish and the onions, then it would taste just like that.
All you have to do was think on it.
Yep.
Exactly. But see, we don't want to think like you said, unto the pure, all things are pure. But onto
It's just like this life. This life can be whatever you want it to be.
exactly.
Whatever you think, as a man think in his mind, so is he.
I mean, bro, even greater.
But obviously greater.
When you really look at it, like your life, it can become so much greater. Like, how many of us been in the truth for a couple of years or a couple of months, and you like, damn, like you said it before you got in the truth. You was like, man, I wish I could go back to high school. I wish I could go back just 5-10 years. This is before you learned about the truth. It was like, I wish I could just go back. There's so many things I would do differently. But now, being in the truth just a couple of months or a couple of years, you're like, golly, like, I wish I known this from the time I was born.
God.
And I live my life like this. Like, everything would just be so much better and so much different. But at the end of the day, it's just
but let me ask this: who's saying that when it's hard? Who's saying that when you're going through your battle? Like, damn, I wish I had this knowledge when I. Nobody's saying that.
Yeah.
You say it when it's good, when things are good and you're floating and the Most High is blessing you and He's dropping blessings down from the sky. He's dropping that manna, right? But then when you get what's the word? Jaded, right? When you get blessing upon blessing upon blessing upon blessing, and you're like, oh, they're just blessings. Because that's what brothers. That's really what you're doing. Oh, when they said it's just manna, you're like, oh, it's just blessings.
It's common. It comes easy.
Right.
You don't have to work for it.
Yeah. Well, I'm here, so I should be getting it.
God.
When you get into that mind, I'm here, so I should be getting blessed, right?
Oh, like it's owed to you.
Right. You get jaded. You get jaded even from the blessings.
You don't even realize that this is a blessing. Like, what is this falling from the sky?
What? Right. Just like the manna. They were like, manna? We tired of this. We tired of these blessings. We're tired of being sustained in this way because we feel like we had a better way. That retrospect is what be killing you, killing us. All you're really doing is looking back onto negative.
No gratitude.
That's the problem with the people at this time. That's the problem with Israel now. You have no gratitude from what you've been taken from. And even what you've been given. Like, think about what we had to be given to be taken from where we were taken from. Something had to be given for us to even be sustained to get where we were going. And we don't even look at that. You don't even look at the chances you've been given. We went over to class Monday about the death. Think about how many of y'all avoided death on a real life gun pull in your face and jammed. A car accident that should have sent you flying through the windshield and somehow it didn't.
Or a near miss car accident.
Or near miss car accident where you knew if that car would have hit, T-boned you, your whole leg would have been gone. That car would have went through the whole car and ripped through the side door and all that. All the situations.
Okay.
You was just standing right there and there was a shootout 5 minutes later. And the person that was standing right next to you got hit. Like, I go through all the stories.
Or how many people hear shots and they're like, damn, they shooting over there, and you don't even consider like, damn, what if they shot at your direction at somebody and missed, and that's something coming in at you. Like,
think about all the things we've been saved from just to get to this point. And we take it for granted looking back at what you were brought into because of lack of wisdom and knowledge. Right? Was that it? Go, where you going?
Ecclesiasticus, chapter 10, verse 25.
Right, go there, yep.
Unto the servant that is wise, shall they that are free do service?
So hitting on the point of discipline, it says the servant that's wise. And it's talking about a servant and someone that's free. And the one that's free is doing service to the servant. Now, in the spirit of the discipline, Yahweh Shai said he came not to be ministered to, but to minister. So he was serving the disciples. Even like when he gave the example of washing their feet. He was serving the apostles. So he's giving them this discipline and giving them this order and giving them instructions on how to do things, keeping them in a certain parameter. Watch, read on.
And he that hath knowledge will not grudge when he is reformed.
When he's what?
When he is reformed.
So the reforming is the changing. When you reform something, it's like when they,
well, you said it. It's a changing.
Right.
Yeah.
So that reforming is taking you from where you were and making you into something new. Now, it said the servant doesn't trip. He's not tripping on the reforming. Because he's that wise servant. He's like, okay, thanks for letting me know. Oh, I shouldn't walk around with my shoes untied? Thanks for letting me know. Oh, you know what? I should pull my shoulders back and walk tall and not hunch? Oh, thanks for letting me know that. Thwad, I appreciate that. I appreciate the correction. See, this servant, he knows that the discipline, the correction, it's beneficial. It keeps things flowing properly, and it's not a benefit for the person that's telling them. It's more of a benefit for him to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's not holding an ace in his pocket. Some of y'all hold an ace in your pocket, right? You like, I'm going to put this card in my pocket for when the brothers check me. I'm going to have it in my mind that, see, I was better off without y'all. I was better off without the knowledge. Read it one more time.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, verse 25.
Right, go ahead.
Unto the servant that is wise,
right,
shall they that are free do service.
Right, go ahead.
And he that hath knowledge,
right,
will not grudge.
He will not what?
Will not grudge.
He will not what?
Will not grudge.
Said he will not grudge. Mm-hmm. You hold that grudge of, as soon as things don't go the way I like it, as soon as I'm not acknowledged the right way, or as soon as I'm acknowledged the way that don't feel comfortable, you pull that card out. See, I was better without y'all. Peace. I'm out.
I don't have to be here. I never had to be here.
I don't got to be here. I don't got to do what y'all do, and you hold up the peace sign like this. Right in our face. Right to Yahweh Shai, deuces, right? And you sing the Chris Brown, deuces.
Sometimes they close one finger.
Right, sometimes they close one finger down, right? But you hold this grudge inside of you, man, and you convince yourself that, see, I didn't need y'all anyway. See, discipline don't work for me. See, I don't need to be disciplined. It's fake. It's fake as hell, man. It gets to the point where it's like you'll crap on, again, you'll crap on all the sacrifices that came for you to be able to come. Mm-hmm. Think about all the sacrifice. Think about all the men. Think about all the men before the men. Think about all the struggle and losing and giving up and blessings and all these different things, man, that had to happen for you to be able to sit right here in class. Or for me to be able to sit here and teach. Or for them to be able to sit here and listen. Think about how much had to be given up. And that's why it says to him that has knowledge. What knowledge? Well, knowledge of self, right? Knowledge that I was chosen for a greater purpose, right?
Con.
Knowledge that the life that I was pulled from wasn't a life. It's that knowledge. The understanding, the wisdom. Knowledge that discipline and being in order is needed to grow. But it says to him that have knowledge, a fool is going to grudge and hold that ace in back pocket for a time that they don't like, or for when they got to go through their battle. They're going to hold that and use that as an out. Go ahead.
And he that hath knowledge will not grudge when he is reformed.
Right.
Be not otherwise in doing.
Be not what? That's it on that. Right? From there, go to what? Isaiah?
Yeah, go to Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 1. You know, and this is a common scripture that we hit a lot, but it goes perfectly with the class, because with those, when you have that downtime and you sit back and you're reminiscing on your former days, your former life, the glory days, you want to go back to it. You're like, man, I'm missed. Like, there's women that would fight to wear pants again. It's like, man, I wish I could go back to wearing some pants or some spandex, or some apple bottoms, or brothers like, man, I miss having women in different area codes I can just go pop up on, and it's okay. Them not know about each other. I miss being able to go hang out at the bar every other night. I miss these things.
Bro, you got women that would rather go back and be with the abusive boyfriend that they were with than be with the righteous man that keeps them in order, because the fact that you don't have the freedom to gallivant and move around the way you want. You got women that sit back and think like, man, I should go back and be with such and such. Yeah, he used to beat me, or yeah, he had me on drugs high, or yeah, he used to steal from me, or yeah, he used to be so negative, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And you'll literally try to weigh out. You'll literally try to weigh out him beating you and you having discipline. Him beating you and being submissive to your husband.
Oh, you know what that is?
In righteousness.
Getting punched in the face and no, don't do it like that. Do it like this.
You'll weigh those things out in your mind. Like, wait a minute.
That's that Mary J. Blige, Mr. Wrong.
Oh,
She know that, Mr.
yeah.
Wrong.
I don't know none of that.
That song?
Yeah, I
Bro,
remember that song.
I don't know.
I forgot who showed me.
Nah, that's
listen
that
to the
song.
radio.
You know, she's like, you know, bad boys ain't no good, but good boys ain't no fun. So,
Oh, okay.
so you'll look back at these at these former boyfriends that you had, and you're like, oh yeah, but he was fun. He was so fun.
He beat me. He stole from me. He used to kick me down the steps. He smacked me across the face.
But
He tried to introduce-
smoke weed together.
He tried to introduce threesomes and foursomes and all these different. He got me on drugs. He got me high. He got me pregnant. Left me. He got all these things, but he was
Take
fun.
on my paycheck.
It was fun.
He was fun.
He was fun.
And the nigga that I'm with now is too disciplined.
We can go to the club and turn up.
The man that I'm with now, he believes too much in the Bible. Let's flip it to brothers.
There it
It
is.
ain't just women.
Nope.
It ain't just women. It's brothers too. You sit back, oh man, damn, I gotta be with her. Wait a minute, but because the Bible says when I lay with her, she's my wife. I gotta teach her. Nah, I want to be with the demon that was cheating on me. Right? I gave her all my money, bought her flowers and roses, took her, did whatever the hell she wanted me to do.
Just a simple example.
Right. and all she did was run around town, disrespect me, not really commit to me anyway. But you would sit back and crap on the wife that's trying to be with you and lock in with you. It's not easy. It's not easy because it's not supposed to be. But it's not easy because you make it hard. Because instead of sitting back and thinking, how do I continue to forge this love and this relationship with a wife that's with me here in the knowledge, you're sitting back like, man, how do I get back with the hoe? How do I get back with the girl that's everybody's girl? How do I get back with the homeboys that don't really like me? They say they're homeboys, right? They say that they got my back, but they've never proven it. It's across the board.
God, you know another way you can look at it too is where us as men, we're the wives to Christ, right? So Christ is our husband.
God.
So you could look at it like in the same way. Like, okay, we go back and Christ told us what we got to do and how we got to live and how we got to maneuver. And we'll look back at our old life like, damn, I want to do that. Like, discipline, taking my time to read this is a big book. It takes a long time to read this thing. So you'll look at it like, man, I can't live my life like how I want to live it no more. Every time I read this book, I get more and more wisdom, and that wisdom that I'm getting makes me more and more accountable. So every time I sit down and I read, or every time I come to class, I get more accountable for my actions. And now, if I even think the wrong way sometimes, Yahweh Shai just you get a small reminder like, okay, get back on point. So you'll start to think back like, man, I wish I could go back where there was no accountability, because that's what our life was. We weren't accountable for nothing. You know, we might be accountable for the little things that you have at your job, or accountable for your family, but this is different. You're accountable for yourself, and you have to be 100% on point with yourself, because everybody's looking at you. Your family's looking at you, your wife, your kids, you know, your friends, your coworkers, everybody looks at you, and that your accountability is, there's never like, you can just close the door. I can breathe.
Get a breather.
You get to a point where you can't even do that, because you can't be crazy around your brothers. You gotta hold a standard around the brothers that you're around. Gotta hold your brothers around the world. Gotta hold your brothers in your house. I mean the standard in your house. So eventually you're like, I'm just tired, man. I'm just tired. I want to be able to just do what I want to do, and that's the thing. That's where we'll be like, man, I just want to go back to Egypt.
God.
I just want to go back to Egypt, man. I just want to go back to slavery, where I don't have to worry about keeping a standard, where I don't have to worry about being accountable, where I don't have to worry about growing, where I don't have to worry about changing, where I don't have to worry about repercussions.
Can I say one thing about that? Because that's more psychological BS. In Egypt, if you didn't work to their standard, they beat you. They killed you. If you didn't show up to work, you got chastised, right? So it wasn't like you weren't living up to someone's standard. You were.
Yeah.
You were. It just wasn't the standard of the Most High. Egypt had a standard.
It did.
But that's
that's the game.
Like mindset.
That's what I'm saying.
Because that's how you will think.
Right.
When your mindset ain't 100% on point, that's how you'll think.
Right.
You'll look at it like, I'm not actually good.
Right.
Like, bro, nah, man, you're good. You're way better off than you think you are. Just look at the people that you used to be around. Just look at their relationships. Look at how, if you're a husband with a wife, look at how the husband and the wives deal in the world. They don't deal good. That's why like 75% of all, I might be stretching it. What is it, like 70, 60? I know it's like in the 60. Ends in divorces.
Nah, it's 50%. 50% of marriages end in divorce.
Wow, that's bad, man.
Half.
Yeah.
That's
half
bad.
Marriages.
And how many just stick together? You're just gonna stay for the kids. Like,
or because it's or financial gain, or
So we try to go back into that mindset instead of covering with the Most High Spirit. But there's a reason why we want to do that. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 30 verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children.
So that woe is destruction.
Con.
If you didn't know, when the scriptures say woe, it's saying destruction. And these rebellious children is that brother, that sister that's reminiscing on their former days, the glory days. Go ahead.
Woe to the rebellious children, said the Most High,
Go ahead.
that take counsel, but not of me.
Yeah, they're counseling with themselves. They're counseling like, hey, if I go back and do this, things will be better for me. I can still keep the truth. I can still, read the Bible. I can still study. But then, when I read this, I think about how Adam had the knowledge, huh? It said he hid amongst the trees. He was trying to hide from the Most High. He was trying to assimilate himself with the world. But even with the wisdom, he couldn't be hid. And then brothers and sisters that may come to the truth or understand the knowledge and then go right back out into the matrix, they start off in a level because they got the knowledge. They're riding high. They're able to see everything. The wisdom is working through them.
Okay.
But then slowly, little by little, they start coming down to the thinking of those that are around them because they're outnumbered.
Right.
All these different thought processes are breaking down their original thought process that they came in with. And then they find themselves right back at that base level.
Good one.
That's the destruction.
God.
That's a mental destruction that they go through. Let's read on.
And that covered with a covering, but not of my spirit,
They're covering with the covering of the world. Read.
that they may add sin to sin.
Go ahead.
That walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth.
Now, think about it. He said, ask at my mouth. Doesn't the Most High take pleasure in the prosperity of his saints? Doesn't the Most High want Israel to succeed and grow and prosper? So, if the Most High wants these good things for us, he said, you didn't ask it for me. Just ask me. I got you. How come you didn't ask me? Look.
That's what he told David.
That's what he told David.
Yeah.
Look, just ask me. I got you.
God.
Yeah. It's not a microwave thing like you just pop it in the microwave, you got a 4-course dinner. No, there's some work, toil, some discipline, and getting your mind right. But the discipline behind that, it gets you ready so that you can receive what the Most High is going to give you that you asked him for.
So that you don't lose it.
So you don't lose it.
God.
You don't blow it.
Exactly.
So that you can keep that rib, so that you can keep the house, so that you can keep the family together, so that you can keep whatever material substance that you might gain.
God.
And he's equating this because the people wanted to go back to Egypt because they feel like back in Egypt is where they had it good. But like Quatazad was talking about, it was a psychological game. If you thought that it was good there, well look, ask me for the things that you had back there, and I'm going to give it to you the right way so that you can actually enjoy it. Read on.
To strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh,
Go ahead.
and to trust in the shadow of Egypt.
That's it on that. From there, give me Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 2. See, we're going in on this discipline and how you don't want to get the correction. You don't want to be put in order. You don't want to be put in line. And you being put in line, you following the correction, you being under the guidance and the discipline, it does not benefit the Most High. It don't do nothing for the Most High.
God.
It's not like, oh yeah, Song is he's actually listening. He's actually obeying law, statutes, commandments. Man, it just made me have a good day now. Oh, when Song's not doing it, I just feel so down in the dumps. No, Most High is not like that. He's like, okay, oh, you don't want to follow? Oh, you don't want the discipline? Oh, well, your sin is going to be your correction. The things that you fall into by not staying disciplined is going to cause you to fall. Read where you at.
Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 2.
Go ahead.
She obeyed not the voice. She
She
deceived not.
She did what?
She obeyed not the voice.
You want to listen. When a brother's coming to you, when the sister's coming to you, when the scriptures are coming out to you, you didn't want to listen because the Most High speak once, yea, twice, but men and women perceive it not. Because you want to do your own thing. You want to follow your own path and seek out your own, you want to build your own kingdom here on earth. You're not looking for the kingdom to come. You're looking for the kingdom that I'm going to build right now. Yeah, Yahweh Shai said you'll be able to receive 100-fold in this life and the life to come. But dang, are you taking it upon yourself to get that 100, to make that 100 times now in this life? Like Sarah was trying to take it upon herself to help Abraham get a baby. She took it upon herself. It wasn't in the line, in the order of the discipline that the Most High said, look, this is what's going to happen. I'm taking care of this, and I got you. Just follow the path. Stay disciplined, stay humble, stay in the book, and I got you. Read on.
She received not correction.
Read.
She trusted not in the Most High.
She trusted not in who?
In the Most High.
Because you have to trust in the Most High, and when you're not trusting in the Most High, you might as well say that you don't even really believe. Come on now. People will trust that when they get in their car and turn the key, the car is going to start up. They trust that when they flick the light switch, the light's going to come on. They trust when they turn the water spout, the water faucet, the water's going to come out. They trust that when y'all go to work, y'all going to get paid. But you can't trust the Most High that provided all these things. See, there's a thing called source and then resource. You can't trust where it's coming from, but you can trust the thing that is, that you got right here in front of you. You trust the resource more than the source. That's backwards, completely backwards. And that's what the scripture is saying. Like, you're not trusting in the Most High. Read on.
She drew not near to her power.
That's it on that. Like, again, it's an American mindset. It's a mindset that we grew up with. It's a mindset of not seeing, not recognizing that the discipline, the structure of the scriptures is for your benefit. From there, give me Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 38.
Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 38.
Go ahead.
But since ye say, the burden of the Most High.
You say what?
The burden of the Most High.
Man, you mean I can't eat shrimp? I can't have pork chops? Dang, you mean I can't go to the club Friday nights? I can't be hanging out at the clubs on Friday nights? Dang, what can I do? Man, this is, you mean I gotta do flyers? I gotta walk around the block in the hot sun talking about the Bible to people? Oh, you mean I gotta come and sit in class for 2 hours and take notes? Oh.
You gotta unify. You gotta want to come together.
Yeah, you gotta want to come together. You mean I gotta deal with this guy? I can't just deal with myself and be to myself. I gotta actually get to know him and be around him and do what the scriptures say. Know those that labor among you. I gotta do what the scriptures say. Gather ye together, O nation not desired. I gotta do these things? Man, I know I'm an Israelite, but I'm an internal individualite. You know, you got the extroverts and the introverts. It's like, dang, the scriptures say I got to be more extrovert, but I'm an introvert. But you look at it like a burden. You look at getting to know brothers and sisters around you as a burden. People, you look at the work, the office, the studying as a burden. And I'm not saying everyone looks at it like this, but for those whose mindset is set on the past, this is how they look at it, because they're looking back. Because the scriptures also say, woe to him that put his hand to the plow and looketh back. He's not fit for the kingdom. Come on.
I was gonna say it's like Lot's wife. The whole Sodom and Gomorrah is getting destroyed. And come on, man, if it was burdensome for Lot to live in Sodom and Gomorrah, that means that it had to be burdensome for his wife. And y'all are running away. Y'all are escaping from it to run to something new, just like our people was when Egypt got destroyed, running away to go to something new, right? Mm-hmm. But we don't. Lot's wife looked at it like, man, I don't know what I'm running to. So because she was looking at it like, I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know what I'm running to. I'd rather just stay where I'm at. Like, I'm comfortable. I'm good. And it was trash to him, but maybe it wasn't that trash to me.
Oh yeah, she had her homosexual friends that you know, like the women be like, oh, my gay friend, he's so funny.
She was his beard.
Oh yeah, kind.
So, we'll look at it like that, man. We'll look at this as a burden, but really, it's not a burden. It'll be a burden. Think about it. Something is a burden to you, like if you really don't want to do it, like if you don't care for it, if you don't like it. It's like being in chemistry class. Back then, like that was burdensome. Nobody really liked that. Think about when
I like chemistry class.
Yeah, I definitely didn't like that. If I had to cut open an animal, it was cool. But, like all the things that come, yeah, you wasn't feeling that. Think about that job that you had that you didn't like. That job was burdensome onto you. But if you ever had a job that was decent, because I'm not going to say any job is good or any job was cool, but if you had a job that wasn't as bad, that went by quick, where you could make some dough, it was like, it wasn't as bad. But when you had that job that took forever, it was burdensome, the people sucked, man, you looked at that like, golly, you didn't like it. But see, if you find that being in the truth and holding yourself to a certain standard and being disciplined, if you find that this is a burden, then your mind has to change. You have to change your mind, and you have to understand why you're doing what you're doing and find that love and that joy in it so that it doesn't become a burden onto you.
Because even in the dynamic of the household, the husband can want things done a certain way. And he's like, hey babe, I want it done like this. And she's like, I'm not with that. I don't really agree with that. He's like, but okay, but I want it done like this. Like, how come we can't just do it? Why does it got to be a back and forth? Why does it got to be an argument? Why does it got to be a debate? How come I can't just say it and then you do it and everything runs smoothly? But then there's always got to be a little bickering back and forth. How come we got to do things that way? It's like, okay, babe, like, this is the way home, and I'm just telling you to take the highway versus taking the street. Yeah, we still gonna get home either way it goes, but I want us to get on the highway because there's no lights. What's the difference? It's like, but, we're in my car. You're riding in my car. Can I just drive with the route that I like to take? And it's like, babe, just get on the freeway.
You know what's crazy? Like, what if you had like a surprise plan for you? What if you had like baby marry me, like set up on the freeway, like the freeway was blocked off, and because like she's rebellious, she don't even want to get on the freeway. So by the time you come to the exit, you're like, just go. You don't even gotta come on it. And then you're like, yeah, man, it's off, bro. You're like, don't even worry. You know what I mean?
Right.
God.
So and that's just a small level. Everybody that's in a relationship, you know the extent of how these back and forths can go. And it can be tedious. It's like, why does it have to be a back and forth? Okay, captain, co-pilot, let's run. Now even going from the man and woman to the woman and children. Now when the children is going back saying, like, oh, why I gotta clean my room? And you're like, cause it's dirty and you need to clean your room. But it's my room, don't nobody else need to see it but me. It's my room. You're like, but you're in my house and I want that room cleaned. And it's like, well, I don't see why it's a problem. I don't see why I have to do that. How come, this is my personal space. What's the purpose of me cleaning my room when I don't care the way it looks? Why do you care the way it looks? It's like, it's the same dynamic that would go on between the husband and the wife. But now it's translated to the children. And it's a burden because one person says, the head is saying, let's do it like this, which the man's head is elder brothers and Yahushua. Hey, do it this way. Handle things this way. Move this way. Okay, you did that, but next time, counsel before you do that. Get some counsel. Don't just reason with yourself. Talk to other brothers that can give you a more broader perspective on the situation. So that you can have a plan of action and you don't make mistakes or fall into similar potholes or pitfalls that other brothers have fell into. it's discipline and it's unity. But the discipline, the unity, people can see it as a burden. This is the burden of the Lord. Man, for my life to be better, it's such a burden to make my life better. I want my life to just go as the wind, do whatever I want to do. I want to be able to hit the strip club. I want to be able to throw it up. I want to be able to dip out on my rib, my wife. I want to be able to just randomly take trips and not have to worry about any kind of responsibilities. Because I said that because I used to do that. I would get off work and I would just drive out of town. I go out of town straight from work and just hang out in another city and then drive back home at night. But people see the discipline as a burden. Read on.
Should I start from the top?
No, you can read where you left off at.
You know, before you read on, I was going to say, you know, in looking up the definition of discipline, right, it says education. So education is a form of discipline. Instruction, cultivation, and improvement. Comprehended instruction in art, science, correct sentiments, morals, and manners, and due subordination to authority, right? So discipline is all these things, man. There's so many different definitions of discipline. It's not just correction or chastisement. When you look at, if you just think about our people, think about our nation, why is it that the blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, from the 1600s up until now, even before that, right? But from that point up until now, why is it that we can't prosper? Why is it that we can't move forward? Khan, we understand that it's because we broke the laws of the Most High.
Okay.
But it's also the discipline. We lack discipline in things. We lack, like it says, the education. We don't understand. I'm going to get to you. We don't understand. We're not educated in the Most High. In instruction, we're not instructed by the Most High. We're instructed by these whack churches.
Uh-huh.
We're not cultivated. We're not seeking after improvement, and we don't comprehend instruction. So you can think about it, man. You'll see these nations, they come, the Asians, they leave their spot, they come over here, they blossom. The Indians, they come over here, they blossom. Arabs, they come over here, blossom. Africans come over here, they blossom. But why is it that the 12 tribes, we don't blossom? It's because we're not disciplined. And we're only disciplined in the things that don't even matter. Like, you'll have a few of us, we want to be rappers and singers and musicians, anything that has to do with the entertainment industry. So we'll be disciplined in that. Yeah. You say what?
I say more than that, it's like almost half of us.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What they want to do.
Yeah, that's all we want to do.
Hoop dreams.
And we'll be disciplined in that, or we'll be disciplined in selling dope, or we'll be disciplined in all the negativity. But when it comes to the positivity, when it comes to something that we can grow in,
Yep.
instead of being disciplined in that, we're like, that's a burden. But it's a burden because you don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about. I feel like everybody has a form of discipline in them, but it's what are you disciplined to? Like, you would have a kid that don't clean his house. That don't clean his room, don't take showers, only wants to eat pizza, but he'll sit on that video game all day.
He's
is a discipline in that.
That
And while he's playing that video game, he's disciplining himself so he get better mentally. So he's disciplined in that. You'll have women that don't want to do that, but they'll be disciplined in making sure that they work out so their bodies are nice, and that they'll be disciplined in that they can put their makeup on good, and that they could take the best Snapchat filters and Instagram. They'll be disciplined to do stuff like that. So the point I'm getting at is we'll be disciplined to do the things that we want to do. But when it comes to the things that the Most High wants us to do, or when it comes to the way the Most High wants us to think, bruh, get that. That's how we act. That's a light thing. I don't want to go through that. I don't see the benefit of it, and I don't see the purpose in why I got to do that. Why am I doing this? That's how we'll act. Like, why does the Most High want us to go through these things? And we'll look at that like it's a burden. So, Yeah, man, but read it from the top.
Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 38.
Go ahead.
But since ye say, the burden of the Most High, therefore thus saith the Most High, because you say this word, the burden of the Most High.
This is really not a burden. Listen, man, you was more burdened in church. You was more burdened when you was following these religions. And you was given, you was paying for those gator shoes, and you was paying for the college degrees, you was paying for all that, and you didn't learn nothing. You was more burdened in that because you weren't taught nothing. You weren't taught how to live your life. So you weren't taught how to, you really weren't taught how to prosper. You know what, let me not say that because all they teach is prospering. But you weren't taught how to problem solve. You weren't taught how to fix the problems that happen. You just drank. You just smoked your blunt. Things started getting crazy. You smoked your cigarette. You weren't taught how to control yourself, how to control, how to protect your family. You weren't taught none of these things. It was more of a burden being in church. It was more of a burden living the worldly lifestyle. Go ahead.
Wait, hold on real quick. How many of y'all celebrated Christmas?
That is burdensome.
Hold on. How many of y'all ever celebrated Christmas? Everybody, right? How many of y'all ever celebrated Christmas and had kids? Now I want you to think about that time. Just having the pressure of coming up with gift money.
Yep.
And balancing that out with bill money, right? Now you got the money, fine. But then when you pull up to that mall, right? And the day before Christmas, because you ain't got no gifts.
Christmas Eve.
Right? And you and the anxiety that went through your body because you felt like if you didn't get these Christmas gifts and get them wrapped and put them under the tree and put the cookies for Santa in the hot milk, right? And if you didn't decorate the house and do all the foolishness that they do, think about the burden that it put on you just to celebrate one holiday. Think about it. Think about how much you went through just to celebrate one day. Your whole 3 months from October to December
You started preparing.
was dedicated to celebrate one false holiday. Think about it. Think about that burden. Most High takes that burden from you, and you're like, no, I want that burden back. I want that anxiety back. Mm-hmm. I want that false sense of I've fulfilled someone else's dreams. I'm the proxy to Santa, right? I want that back, where the white man gets the credit for the things that I do. 'Cause y'all all told your kids that Santa is the one that brought gifts.
Yep.
So I want that back. I want the white man to take all the credit for everything that I do. That's what I want. You got to think about I'm saying it like this because I want y'all to think about what you've been pulled from. And I like this scripture when it says the burden. Read it one more time from the top. I'm going to let you read it right through. Read.
But since ye say, the burden of the Most High, therefore thus saith the Most High, because you say this word, the burden of the Most High, and I have sent unto you, saying, you should not say the burden of the Most High. Therefore, behold, I, even I, will utterly forget you.
Yeah, because you think that this is so hard to have a standard. You think it's so hard to listen to your husband. You think it's so hard to follow counsel from brothers. You think it's so hard to be put under the fetters of discipline.
Yeah.
Most I said he's going to forget you.
Done.
He's going to forget you. And what else is he going to forget?
And I will forsake you.
Right? And remember, he said, because you have forsaken me, I will also forsake your children. Hosea 4:6, right? You're going to forsake your children. A lot of y'all can't afford that. You got little young babies, right? Newborns, babies in bellies.
And it's not just children's. It's anybody that looks up to you.
Yeah.
Anybody that comes to you for a form of
for that reformation. Again,
Yeah.
we're supposed to be the standard of reformation, of being reformed and changed. Anybody that comes to you, that's why it talks about in Timothy's where it says, "Let no man despise thy youth, but give credit, give attendance to exhortation, to reading, to doctrine." Right. it says that anybody that hears you will be saved. But how can you reform anybody or save anybody when you yourself doesn't recognize that you were saved? Go ahead, read on.
And the city that I gave you and your fathers, and cast you out of my presence.
Ugh.
And I will bring an everlasting reproach upon you.
Yeah, that reproach is going to go through your generations. So no matter what you do, no matter how much you try to hide it and cover it up with money, with I'm going to start my own business, with I'm going to go do my own thing, no matter how you try to massage your way out of what the Most High has in store, you're not going to be able to. Somebody's going to be affected down the line. No matter how much you pull away from wisdom and try to fill it up with something else, the Most High is going to make sure that somebody down the line is going to feel it.
Con.
Go ahead.
And a perpetual shame.
Is what?
A perpetual shame.
Yeah, man, you're going to bring that shame onto your generations. What verse is that?
40.
40.
Oh,
That's one.
was that it? On that?
Which shall not be forgotten.
Con.
Con.
Next scripture we're going to go to is Job 36 and 9. Job chapter 36 and 9.
Let's get that. Go right there.
Job chapter 36, verse 9.
Yeah.
Then he showeth them their work
Go ahead.
and their transgressions that they have exceeded.
And hasn't the Most High done that? Hasn't the Most High showed you working since you've been in the truth? Haven't you like looked back at your life and been like, damn, I used to do that? Or man, I'm in this situation because of what I did back then. How many of us got those regrets, man? Where you're like, man, I do that. How many times you driving and you like, Most High hit you with a thought, and you're like, man, I did that to him. I did that to her. I said that. And you're like, wow. You get hit by those things. The Most High, He will show us our transgression, and He'll show us where our mess ups. Go ahead.
Verse 10. He openeth also their ear to discipline.
And then the Most High gave you the truth and opened your ear to discipline. He gave you the wisdom, the knowledge, and understanding on what to do, what not to do. And that came with discipline. Now you had to discipline yourself and say, okay, let me not do that, because now I understand that why saying what I said wasn't appropriate, or doing what I did wasn't appropriate. So the Most High, He gave you that discipline. I mean, and it's all around. It's all around. Go ahead.
And commandeth that they return from iniquity.
Kind. So now you got the wisdom, you got the commandments, you got the understanding on why not to do what you were doing, and He commanded you come back from that. Don't do that like you was talking about Christmas. Why would I go back and listen? Me having the truth. Christmas Day, I'm sorry, my kids not even a penny. Not even a penny they'll get for Christmas. Not even a wrap. None of that. But no, you're gonna be taught. What happened? Well, during Christmas we're celebrating Feast of Lights. You're gonna be taught Hanukkah. Way better, because guess what? I know how I used to act when my mom couldn't buy me the new PS2 or the new Xbox 360. And that's all I wanted for Christmas. But instead I got some basketball shorts or something, some off-brand basketball shorts. And I'm like, man, it's Christmas Day, and I'm like, what is this?
No.
You know,
I had one of these Voltron, the Voltron toys. You probably don't know about it, but the Voltrons when I was a kid, and I got the bootleg Voltrons, so I wasn't too happy about that.
God. But the Most High, you know, He gave you the wisdom on what you were doing before you came into the truth. And now all you got to do is discipline yourself. Discipline yourself and don't go back to doing what you was doing before. Go ahead. Because there's a reason. Go ahead.
Verse 11. If they obey and serve Him.
Because if you obey and serve, you keep yourself disciplined. And discipline is a form of, what do they call it? Abstinence?
Yeah.
Yes, abstinence. So if you practice abstinence, it's not just sex. If you practice abstinence from all these things that the Most High intended us to be abstinent from the beginning when He made us, if you practice that, then read.
They shall spend their days in prosperity,
Go ahead.
and their years in pleasures.
Yeah, you'll be prosperous. And we'll actually live in pleasures. Guess what, man? Your pleasure won't be weed. Your pleasure won't be porn. Your pleasure won't be a strip club. It won't be liquor. It won't, cause, come on, man. It won't be sports. It won't be watching the midgets on the Atlanta midgets. My sisters be watching that, or watching Love and Hip Hop. Love and Hip Hop. Like that won't be your pleasure. Like think about the pleasures that we have right now. Seriously, like really think about it. It's so trash. And even the pleasures that Esau puts in our mind, like man, I want to experience that. I want to ride on a jet. Like what's different than riding a jet? Than you're still in the air. It's all good. You can take a commercial flight. How is it pleasurable to go on a vacation? When you see like the Kardashians and they're on a vacation, the beach is right there, but they're laying down getting a tan. They ain't even in the water. So that's that's their pleasures because they have money. But that's it. That's it. Think about it, man. We get real pleasures.
That's their peak.
Yeah, that's their peak. We get real pleasures, man. Because there's nothing more enjoyable than companionship. Than having somebody that you can actually have fun with. Think about kids. How are kids so happy and they love playing and having fun? They'll find little things to play with. Especially when they're with each other. I remember in Jamaica, man, we used to take a broom or a stick and just go in a circle with the stick. And your kids, you had to jump over the stick. Think about you had a jump rope. And two people holding the jump rope and you jumping. It was unity. That's really where you get your pleasures and you have fun with, man, when you're unified with people. Not the things that the world has to offer. Oh, I got a new car.
Yeah, it wasn't the rope.
Yeah, it wasn't the rope.
It wasn't the rope. It was the fact that you had three people that could let the rope function in its capacity.
Yeah.
Because when you had that rope, you just did this. And you just, yay. Right?
You jumping.
Even jump over by yourself sucked.
Yeah. Or you playing hopscotch. You playing hopscotch and your friend right there playing hopscotch with you. Or you playing handball and the other friend over there, he hitting it back.
You know about that handball.
I was trash. I was terrible at that.
I live with Ephraim. That's their game. Handball, that's their game.
God, man. Yeah. So the Most High, He gives us real prosperity and real pleasures. Not what the world tells you is prosperity and pleasures. Go ahead.
Verse 12. But if they obey not, they shall perish by the sword.
Go ahead.
And they shall die without knowledge.
God, man. God.
Where we at?
Yeah.
From there, we're going to go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3 and verse 11.
God.
Oh, I was like 30.
Shout out to Zion for sending in that scripture.
Zion!
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3.
Wisdom of Solomon 3:11.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3, verse 11.
And then we'll go to the next point.
For whoso despiseth wisdom and nurture, he is miserable.
He's what?
Miserable.
So if you don't like the correction that benefits you, then it benefits the one that's correcting you. You're miserable because it's for your benefit, but then you're fighting the correction, you're fighting and going against the grain. You're like, look, this is just to make our lives better together. Look, I got a vision, I gotta go, I see something where we're going. Please just roll with it. Kids,
roll with me, wife.
roll with me. Roll with me. I gotta go. Okay, I can share the goal with you, but you might not still see it the way that I see it. Just roll with me. Kids, don't play in the street. Okay, you don't understand that even though you don't see no cars coming right now, you might get distracted and the car will come and smack you. Just listen. Stay out the street. You're miserable when you don't want to follow the wisdom. You're miserable when you don't want to follow the nurture of the wisdom. Read on.
And their hope is vain.
Yeah, because you're chasing after vanities. You want to be a rap star. You want to do things your way. You want to say, hey, you know what? I know. Hey, babe, if it's all right with you, you know, I've been doing this this workout class with the fitness pole. That's what it's called, the fitness pole. And I think I could actually make some money being a fitness dancer, but at a topless bar. But then I get to wear the pasties, so I'm not completely topless. And it's like, what?
Right?
Why do you want to do something so, like, out of the way? Your hope, it's vain, because you're looking for an end. You're looking for, more money, more ends, completing the household. But it's vain. Read on.
Their labors unfruitful.
Yeah, you try to do things that's out the way, and then your works don't come out the way that you thought it was going to come out, because you're doing things outside of the discipline, outside of the wisdom. Read on.
And their works unprofitable.
Go ahead.
Their wives are foolish.
Read.
And their children wicked.
So that hits the brothers, because you got to deal with this foolish wife, and then it hits the sisters because they got to deal with these wicked children. It hits the whole family. Everyone feels it from the bottom to the top. From there, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next point. If someone can grab Psalm chapter 50 and verse 16.
Psalm chapter 50, verse 16.
Go ahead.
But unto the wicked.
But to who?
But unto the wicked, the Most High saith.
Next one.
Oh, the next point is your actions, the way that you're doing things, the way that you go about moving around. It reveals something about you. Read on.
What hast thou to do to declare my statutes?
Go ahead.
Or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth?
So the scripture's saying, okay, you're being wicked. You want to take my covenants, my statutes in your mouth. You want to talk a good game, but what are you doing? Like, why are you gonna take my statutes and my covenants in your mouth, but you ain't doing it? Where's the love in that? Where's the discipline? Where's the appreciation for even being the chosen?
Yeah.
Read on.
Verse 17. Seeing thou hatest instruction.
You hate being washed, cleansed, and set apart. You hate that the Most High says, "Be ye holy, for I am holy." Read on.
And casteth my words behind thee.
You treat it like a light thing. In one ear, out the other. Husband says, "Hey, Rib, do it like this. In one ear, out the other." Hey, children, do it like this. In one ear, out the other. Hey, brother, do it like this and not like that. In one ear, out the other. It might as well not go like this. It might as well just go like in, and then there'd be a hole in the back of the head and it just falls out. You just throw it behind you. It don't mean that much to you. Read on.
Verse 18. When thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him.
Yeah. Yeah, you see your former buddies in the world. It's like, man, that was the homie right there. Man, I remember when I used to roll with him. I'm gonna go back and start hanging with him again. So you're consenting with the thief. Read on.
And hast been partaker with adulterers.
Now, it's saying the thief and adulterers, but the people that we used to deal with, our old friends and associates in the world, what are they really about? Mr. Steal Your Girl, sleeping around, get money, die trying.
They were about, like, everything was flesh.
Everything was about the flesh.
Yeah.
So the scripture's saying you were linking yourself up to these old people, these old past, because somewhere in your mind, you felt like the way things were back then is better than it is now. Like Quatazat was saying earlier, you're playing this psychological game with yourself. Read on.
Verse 19.
Go ahead.
Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. That's sis.
Yeah, you're joining yourself with the world again. You're reassembling yourself in the matrix. It's like what I was saying earlier. You walk out with the wisdom. You came into the truth. You got the wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and then you go reassimilate yourself back into the matrix. Your understanding starts to become base as the people that are around you. The more you're around them, solo, and being influenced by them, taking counsel of them guide. Because this is one thing I told my little brother. My little brother said, hey, I don't need you telling me anything. I need to go find my own way and make my own mistakes without someone else influencing me to do right or wrong. And I said, bro, look, you're being influenced by somebody whether you like it or not.
That's right.
If you're not influenced by me, you're influenced by your friends. If you're not influenced by your friend, you're influenced by your boss. You're being influenced by somebody. None of your thoughts are original thoughts. And that's just the same way with everybody. You got, just like when you see in those cartoons, you got the angel on one side and you got the little devil on the other side. Either one is going to influence you. You're either going to be influenced in the spirit or you're going to be influenced in the world. Now, the spirit says, hey, if you really believe, if you really want to show that you love me and that you appreciate that I have chosen you from the foundation of the earth, don't just have it in your mouth, have it in your actions. How do you show that you love the Most High? Keeping the commandments. You can't go like this to the Most High. Hey, I love you, Most High. No, it's in your actions. It's in what we're doing. Read on.
And a lot of the actions show forth that you don't want to do what you're doing.
Con.
It's like you're hereby constraint and restraint. It's like you're here because this is the only alternative, and it shows. It shows in the way when the criticism, the constructive criticism, the teaching moments, when all these things are happening, and all it is someone trying to give you just a little bit of an edge more than what you already have. It's like you tighten up. Those butt cheeks get real tight. Why are you telling me this? You clench your teeth, right? And you just like, man, I'm tired of hearing it. And, it shows. Your actions, but even before the act, because the action is, this is the thing. The action is you are doing things. Everybody's doing something. But how? In what spirit? In what mind? Is it in joy? We talked about that with the fruits of the spirit. Am I doing things out of joy, love? Or again, am I doing things out of restraint? And is something, do I feel like every time I do something or every time I'm told something, something is being pulled from me? I mean, these are questions you got to ask yourself. These are questions that we got to wrestle within ourselves. It says, let every man seek out his own soul salvation. So if you got children and you never had children before, ever, in your life, ever, and someone that has children sees you doing something that don't make sense, right? And they say, hey, you shouldn't do that because
This and the other.
if you do that, from experience, I know that if you do that, whatever you're doing right now, it's going to have a negative effect. And you're like, in your mind, like, why the hell are you telling me something? These are my kids. Right? Are you not, you're taking care of your kids, you're doing your thing, but how are you taking care of your kids now? Things become, you start to develop that, again, a grudge for another person, that hatred, that resentment of, well, why are you trying to check me on what's mine? You see that? So we got to understand the way we do things, the way you come off when you're being shown there's a slightly better way. It ain't that you're 100% wrong. It ain't that you're 100% right. It's that the way things are being done can have this effect, which is good, or a bad effect. From experience, I've seen that the way you're doing it will have a bad effect. Who wouldn't want to be told? Who wouldn't want to be told, hey, that's going to have a bad effect down the road from my experience?
Yeah, it's almost like when people tell you something, or they'll tell you after the fact, it's like, man, if I was you, I would have did it like this.
Right. And it's like, well, why did you tell me?
Yeah, kind of.
Well, a lot of the times, you know why you don't get told? Because when you were told beforehand, you caught a damn attitude. You looked at the person that was telling you wrong. Why the hell you telling me something? You tightened up like they stole your whole spirit. So they stopped telling you. And then when you get hit, it's like, well, what I would have did was, I love doing that. I'm that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, well, the way I would have did it.
Yep.
You know, because after a while, a person gets tired of telling a hard-headed person the same thing over and over and over and over. Yeah. And as a hard-headed person, you get tired of being told over and over and over and over. Okay. So what does it do? It builds you back into the mind that, you know, when nobody was telling me a damn thing. Man, I just want to go back to the time when I was just living, wake up when I want, go to bed when I want, go be here when I want, show up. I can pull up to the beach on this day, pull up over here on this day, go chill with the homeboys on this day, go chill with the homegirls on this day. Nobody planned things out and orchestrated things in my life but me. I can be neglectful in whatever I wanted to be neglectful in. Who could say something? I can neglect my duties. I can neglect myself. A lot of y'all be God damn. A lot of y'all problem is with yourself. Yeah. Where you got a husband that's trying to edge you into showing you that if you keep moving the way you're moving, you're neglecting yourself, and it's gonna be bad. There's bad implications. Okay. And he's like, no, look, we can't think like this. We can't drink like this. We can't eat like this. We can't move like this. And you're like, no, I want to move the way we've been moving, or I want to move the way I'm comfortable with moving. And all he's saying is, look, we got to just tighten it up. It's been this long that we've been moving this way, and look at the results. Yeah. If you talk about eating right, health, look at the results. But you see the results in your kids. You see the results in yourself. If you got kids, you see the results in your kids. If it's just you, you'll see the results in you. No matter what it is, whether it be health, whether it be the spirit in your mind, what you give your mind, your kids will reflect you, and what's being put in you will reflect on what's being put in them. It's like they're the mirror, right? Whatever I give myself to, he'll let me know if it's good or bad. Because then when it comes out of his mouth, it's like, oh damn, where'd he get that from? Oh well, he was sitting there watching me intake, right? And then he intook. You see that? So they reflect, but a lot of the times, man, it's don't be neglectful towards yourself. That's all it is. Like if we tell a brother, hey, you got to chill with the drinking. How does it affect me if a brother just wants to be faded all the time?
It doesn't.
It don't. Truthfully, the nonchalant, let the Most High show you, brother, that I could be. I'm like, cool. I know what wine is. It's a mocker. I know what it does. So I'm gonna let you figure it out, right? But I rather tell you so you don't feel it. You don't feel the mockery. You don't feel what it is to go through that. 'Cause I've been there. But it don't do nothing if you want to be hard-headed to me. It don't frustrate me. It don't upset me. It gives us these real good classes to go over. That's all it really does. It gives us the ammo. It gives us the ammo. The gun is there. You give us the bullets and the aim. Right? That's all it really does is you keep providing more classes for us to go over and over and over. So it really don't affect if you want to be stubborn and hard-headed and rebellious. If you want to be, do things in a perverse spirit, that don't matter to me. Right? Where it does matter is when it starts to bleed over to the ones that want to do things in the right mind. That's when now we got to draw the line, right? Draw the line and say, okay, we can't let this mind state bleed over. Remember that sword? Right? Remember in the beginning we talked about the sword? That's where that sword comes down, and we got to constantly be separating mind states. Well, he's doing what we're all doing, but how? She's doing what we're all doing, but how? She's a wife in word, right? She's a wife in word, but how is she being a wife? We know she's the brother's rib, but is she being a wife? Because what is a wife?
Help me.
That's it? I mean, I know there's more, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. There's a lot more, right? There's a lot more. I was doing this because I thought y'all were going to come with them.
Oh,
I was waiting for you wives to start dropping it, right? She's this. She's that. I thought y'all was flowing with me. Obviously not, right? But there's all these things that a wife is, right? It's not just a title. it's not just a title. If you're doing things in title and not really in the deed doing of it in a good spirit, there's no point. And that's where the frustrations. That's where the where we look at your actions and say, okay, you hate this life. Same thing with brothers, right? Where we at? What scripture we at?
Psalm chapter 50, verse 20. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thy own mother's son.
Yeah, and I put this in here on the sense of your actions and your unity. Look, when Yahushua was doing the work, what did he say about when his mom and his brother was outside the crowd? They was like, yeah, your mother and your brother's outside the crowd. They want to talk to you. And he was like, who is my mother? Who is my brother? But them that do the work. This is my brother and my mother and my sister. These men that's right here with me, working with me, moving with me. But then to the ones that you're supposed to be moving with, the one that's supposed to be your brother, the one that's supposed to be your sister, you care not to hang out with them. You care not to unify. You rather go back and be with the old homies on the block. You rather go back and hang out with the family members at the barbecue. Oh, we got the family's having to get together. We should go.
Can we go?
Can we go? Let's do that. And it's like, oh, but we're having a camp unity night. Let's do that. Oh, do we really gotta do that?
Well, we just had a feast day like last week.
I know. I mean, they're gonna want me to make something. Do we gotta do that? Like, I'm gonna have to talk to other people. And it's like, but what were you gonna do at your family's house? Weren't you gonna bring a dish there too? Weren't you gonna congregate and socialize with your family or your friends in the world? But now you speak against and side-eye your brother, your sister. When it says you're slandering your own mother's son, I'm bringing that to the spirit because we all family up in here.
That's right.
You know, Quadazad just really made it real apparent to me that I'm the only one of my blood here in Houston. But that's quite all right because where I lost in family, I gained 10 times more in family.
Right.
Shoot, so I'm not even tripping. I got more family than I knew I had now. So, but you know, the thing is, we can't keep having this mindset of my actions, my words, and my words say, yeah, I love the Lord, or my words say that I'm gonna keep the statutes and commandments. My words say that, yeah, I'm here for the right intentions. But then your actions show something different.
Your facial expression.
Your facial expression, yeah, your body language. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like even if you had ran a red light, and then the police pull you over, whoop whoop. Hey, yeah, you know you just ran that red light. I did. I mean, but I didn't mean to run the red light. It's like, yeah, but you did it. Just because you say you didn't mean to do it, your whole actions said you did it. Yeah. So you're guilty of that. A brother's look is like, hey, bro, look, you need to stop doing this. Stop hanging out all night. Bro, get in line. Focus. Get in the book. Study. Be at home doing what you're supposed to be doing. Hey, bro, look, be courteous. Stop being a brute beast when you're around people. Hey, bro, look, be considerate of the man next to you. Hey, sis, look, think about other sisters and how you can unify with them. Instead of thinking on these things, it's a burden. You want to say it in action. You want to say it in talk, but you don't want to actually do these things. It's a burden.
It's even a burden to think about it.
It's a burden to think about it.
Because you know what's crazy? It's like, how come you don't talk to this person? Well, because it's weird talking to that person. Okay, so then how do you fix that?
Talk to him.
You got to do what?
Talk to him.
Right. You actually got to do what's weird to get out of the weirdness, but you'll overthink and psych yourself out. Like, yeah, I know the problem, but I don't want to do the thing to fix the problem.
Yeah.
That don't make sense, right? That don't make sense. What's the next scripture?
So yeah,
Where we at? Cause right?
yeah, time. So really and truly, you don't know why you're here, and you don't care about the vision. You don't care about the vision that the Most High has for us. Most High said, gather together, nation, O nation not desired. Gather all the tribes of Yaquab together, and inherit thou them as from the beginning. You know, but you don't want to do that. You still want to be an individual. Like, you don't care about the vision. You care about your own personal vision, your own personal goals in your life. Give me Ecclesiasticus chapter 23 and verse 4.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 23 and verse 4. O Lord, Father and God of my life, give me not a proud look,
Go ahead.
but turn away from thy servants always a haughty mind.
Let me not try to put my mind back into my former self and think that was better. Think that the lack of discipline or the balance of discipline in another way was better than the discipline that I'm receiving now. Read on.
Turn away from me vain hopes and concupiscence,
Go ahead.
and thou shalt hold him up that is desirous always to serve thee.
Con.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say, read verse 5 again.
Turn away from me vain hopes.
God, so you know what is a vain hope, especially pertaining to us in the truth. What would you say is a vain hope?
Becoming a billionaire.
Becoming a billionaire,
Rock star.
basketball player, like
Football
all,
player.
like pretty much anything that being in the truth, any hope that you're thinking of that isn't in correlation to what the Most High wants, that's a vain hope. That right there is a vain hope. It's not gonna prosper. Because I mean, did it really prosper in the world anyways?
Nah.
No, it didn't. It didn't. So the scripture is saying, turn away from me vain hope, right? And before that, the scripture said, turn away from thy servants always a haughty mind. Because when you have that haughty mind, your hopes are vain. Anything you're thinking about, it's useless. Think about how you used to think back in the world. Think about the way you acted. I mean, think about it. The scripture, not the scripture says, but we always say that your best choices got you here. Your best choices got you to the point where you're at. I mean, now you're in the truth, so things should be way better. You know, you should be thinking and moving differently. But when you were in the world and things was going wrong, things weren't on point, you was always contentious, there was no peace, there was always some form of confusion, your best thought got you there. And it was from that haughty mind. So the scripture is telling you, read verse 5 from top.
Turn away from me vain hopes and concupiscence.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt hold him up that is desirous always to serve thee.
Yeah, man, because those vain hopes, your hope is vain if it's not on point with serving the Most High. So, y'all got to see it, man. If you want to hope for something, it got to be in line with the Most High. That's why a lot of times when you pray and you ask for something, if it seems like it's not getting answered, well, I mean, is it in line with what the Most High wants? Or is it just a vain hope? Is it a vain prayer? Like the scripture says in James, like you pray for something because you want to consume it upon your own lust. That's a vain hope. But if you're trying to get something, for your nation and for your people, then come. The Most High, let that be. Where you want to go after this? Go to Ephesians 4:3.
Ephesians chapter 4 verse 3. Endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace.
We got to do what?
Endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace.
And see, this is one of the visions. This is not a vain hope. This is a great hope, actually.
God.
For us to want the unity of the Spirit, but we want to be unified in the Spirit of the Most High, but we want it to be in peace. But the scripture says you got to endeavor. That means you got to fight, man. You got to push.
God.
You got to work hard at it. Because not everybody that's around is like you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta endeavor to get to know somebody that's not exactly like you. Think about it. At your job or whatever public arena that you was put in, you'll hang around with people that thought like you.
That is correct.
You hang around with people that move the same way you moved. Oh man, you like sports? I like sports too, but you lucky I don't like hockey. We can't deal. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you watch this, I watch this too. Okay, we can talk. We can kind of unify off of that. But see, where we're unifying off of is the Most High. The Most High is where we can all agree. Okay, we love the Most High. We want this. We want to see our nation back to where our nation used to be. We want to make it to the kingdom, so we all unify for this purpose. But guess what? We're all different. All of us are different. So we got to endeavor to try to build that unity. And that's what a lot of Israelites don't want to do. And that's like the topic. The topic is, why do I hate being an Israelite? A lot of Israelites, if you ever have negative thoughts, one reason is because you just don't like to unify. You don't like to be around. But that's what America has beaten into us. We only like to unify when it's some BS. Oh man, what we having a kickback? I'm down. We going to the club? I'm down. We barbecuing? I'm down. We partying? I'm down. Church? I'm down. I mean, movies? I'm down. We unify off of BS, but when it comes to unifying to make the work happen, we not about that. So if you find yourself having an issue unifying when it comes to getting stuff done for your nation, then yeah, man, the spirit got to get checked. You got to check that spirit yourself. So to close it out, man, we can go to. Did you want to close it out, or? So to close it out, man, we can go to. Let's go to First Peter's 5 and 2. 1 Peter's 5 and 2. So we'll close it out on this, man, and this is the last point. The last point is to. It's pretty much what's your intentions. Because if you hate being an Israelite, that means that your intentions it's just not there. And if you hate knowing that you're an Israelite, if you hate being chosen, then it's because your intentions ain't there. Your intentions could be selfish, it could be prideful, it could be arrogant, it could be lazy. So what's your intentions? But this right here, obviously we have more scriptures, but this right here is like is a perfect scripture. 1 Peter 5 and 2.
1 Peter chapter 5 verse 2. Feed the flock of the Most High, which is among you.
So this is if your intention isn't this, then it needs to change. It needs to change because you already know the truth. You know you're an Israelite, but if you ain't about feeding the flock, if you're not about feeding the flock, you're in trouble. But how do you feed the flock? It's not just teaching. It's the way you carry yourself. It's your standard. It's your example. It's all these things. It's if you just walk into HEB, if you got out your car and you walk into HEB, you feeding the flock. How? By the way you carry yourself. You gonna be arguing in HEB, being contentious? Oh, she run me up twice. That is that how you gonna carry yourself? Nah, it can't be. So you're always feeding the flock, always. Remember, that's when Christ was leaving. He asked, it was either John or Peter. He was like, "Feed my flock, feed the sheep." So if your intentions is not on feeding the flock, then you can see why. Okay, you're not enjoying what you're doing. You can see why you don't like to be chosen, because you're chosen to feed the flock. And the flock is, like I was saying, it's not just the brothers and sisters in the camp. The flock is your family, it's your friends, it's everybody around us. Everybody that look at us. You at work, the people that know you're an Israelite at work, or even if they don't know you're an Israelite at work, the way you carry yourself should be like, she's different. What is it about you? Or he's different. Man, why you like that? Why you think like that? Why you so nice? Why you always happy? Why you always joyful? Like, because everybody's pissed right now. The whole world is just, like, people in the world is just messed up. I be going jogging, and I'm going this way, and they're coming this way. And I'm jogging, I'll be like, you know what I mean? They don't even look at you.
Right.
I'm like, damn, bro. And that's like 80% of the people. It's like 80% of the people. Like, I'm jogging, and they see me coming, and they pull out their phone. It's like, bruh.
Right.
Sometimes
First of all, you're a black man running, so they take out their phone so they can document the encounter.
God.
I mean, it's crazy though. It's crazy, man. Like you could just see it on people. Like people just out of there. You be in the grocery store, you walk past somebody. It's like it ain't even there's like no courtesy. Like nobody is trying to be bothered. So we got to be the opposite. Go ahead.
Taking the oversight thereof.
But you got to take the oversight, man. You got to take control. You got to take control, man. And this is in all areas, all aspects of life. Listen, if you're at your job, take control of your job. When I say that, I don't mean be a good slave. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, just like in the truth, you're expected to grow and be better. If you're at your job, bro, like, don't just be at one position forever. Like, try to come up, try to get better, try to grow, try to be the boss.
Be the boss.
Take the oversight. Why do I say to do that why do I say to do that at your job? Because if you can do that at your job, then you could do it when it comes to the truth. You'll take the oversight when it comes to your nation. I care. Because that's really all taking the oversight is. It's I care. You know, you got those people at your job, they don't care. Like, man, I don't care if that get done. I'm getting paid. I'm getting paid. The camera can't see me. But when it comes to the truth, the angels see everything that you do. So take the oversight, man. Actually have a care and a love and a joy for what you do. Even if you're not a part of a camp, have a care and a love for being chosen, for being an Israelite, because you didn't do nothing to deserve it.
That's right.
And the scriptures say that the word is going to be preached to everybody. So if the word is preached to everybody, you better give thanks to the Most High and show appreciation that you was able to hear it. So take the oversight. Go ahead.
Not by constraint.
And don't do it because, oh man, he's going to destroy me if he come. If he come right now, he's going to destroy me. Don't do it by constraint, or don't do it because you feel like you're being forced. Mm-hmm. Do it because of love, man. When you drive down Bissonnette and you see our people prostituting, 14, 15, 16-year-old girls prostituting, that should light a fire under you. When you're on World Star and you see the madness on World Star, or if you're on Hood Site is worse than World Star, y'all. If y'all ain't been on Hood Site, bruh, Hood Site is bad. You see them cartels in South America, the way they be doing, bruh, come on, man.
I prefer not to see that.
Bro, like, it's vicious, but when you look at it and you're like, man, that's our people, it should light a fire under you to say, man, let me do this because people are suffering. You feel like you're suffering because you're in the truth. You ain't suffering because you're in the truth. I watched a man get his stuff ate off by a pit bull on Hood Site. You be watching these cartel dudes, they be lighting these dudes up, burning them alive. You be seeing it's some crazy stuff, man. And it's you see a lot of it in Brazil, of course Mexico. You see it all over South America, man. And that's our people that's going through that. So you got to see why you're chosen and why you got to feed that flock and take the oversight, man. Have a care for what you do. Have a care for your calling. And don't do it because I'm not gonna make it into the kingdom. Nah, do it for love, man. Do it for love, read.
But willingly.
Yeah, do it because you willingly want. You're good, but they're unlucky. They're not. They're not good like you. They're suffering. Read.
Not for filthy lucre.
Yeah, not because you want some position, because you want some rank. It's not for that. Because you want money, cars, jewelry. It's not for that. Read.
But of a ready mind.
But of a ready mind, man. Go ahead.
Neither as being lords over the Most High's heritage.
Go ahead.
but being ensamples to the flock.
Yeah, man. Just because you got put some position, don't be an a-hole. Come on, man. We all got those people at your job, man. They call it a white man with a power trip. White people love that. When they get that power trip, they can tell you what to do. Don't be like that, man. But be an example unto the flock, because that's how Christ was. Christ washed the feet, like you were saying. Go ahead.
And when the chief shepherd shall appear, ye shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away.
Because that's what it's about. Everything in this world, everything in this life is going to fade away at some point. But, come on, man. That crown that we chasing, that's forever. It's like those football players, they win the Super Bowl, they crying, they holding the trophy. They could never take this from us. Bro, who cares? Who cares? Like, bro, okay, next year there's going to be another champion. And nobody's going, like, who won the Super Bowl last year?
Chief.
Okay, you remember, like, nobody cares. But that's my point in this life. It's like, the stuff that people chase, it faded away. And nobody cares. I was watching MTV Cribs, man, and Tony Yayo pulled up in his Bentley at 50 Cent's house. That Bentley's parked right over there. That same Bentley he was driving, it's like parked like over there, like on the side of the street, because something's wrong with it. That's a Bentley. That's an older Bentley. But back then, that Bentley was the truth. But now that Bentley ain't nothing. Nobody cares.
The same as that car?
Huh?
The same as that car that's sitting there?
The same, not the one that he was driving on. Not that same car he was driving, but it's the same. It's the same car.
I got you.
Yeah, it's just sitting right over there. It's been sitting there for like a month because it needs to get fixed. But that's what the world chases. They chase stuff that don't matter. But our crown, oh come on, man. Think about it. We could still sit here and read about Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the 12 tribes. Yeah, man.
Can I just get one to close it? Was that it? Was that it? Lock around?
Yes, sir.
Real quick. Just go to Joshua 24 and 15. Just read it. And we'll end it there. Joshua 24, 15.
Joshua chapter 24, verse 15.
Go ahead.
And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Most High,
Right?
choose you this day.
Yeah, you know, you got to start making choices. You got to start being real with yourself. If you think that the mire that you were pulled from is you were better off in that than being in the wisdom, you got to make a choice. Don't do it. Don't be here because of your husband. Don't be here because of a brother. Don't be here because you feel like brothers are gonna look at me different if you choose. Go ahead.
Choose you this day whom you will serve.
Right?
Whether
That's
it-
good because that's what it boils down to. You're gonna serve something.
That's right.
If you ain't serving the Most High, you're gonna serve something.
Done.
But there's never gonna be a void. There's something that you're gonna be bowing down to, and holding yourself accountable to. Go ahead.
Whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood,
Right.
or the gods of the Amorites,
Right.
in whose land ye dwell.
Come on.
But as for me and my house, we will serve the Most High.
Done.
We will do what?
We will serve the Most High.
We will serve the Most High, and that's the choice that we should all be trying to make, and not just all of us serve the Most High in word and in tongue, but we should be doing it in the deed and in the truth and in the joy, the love, the unity. That's
Right.
when you say you're going to serve the Most High. That's what he's saying you're going to do, or excuse me, that's what you're agreeing to do. Joy, unity, charity, love, long suffering. This is what you're agreeing to when you say I'm going to serve the Most High, because this is what he's about. He's the God of peace. He's the God of joy, charity, love. He's the God of sacrifice.
That's right.
He's also the God of blessings.
That's right.
Go ahead. Is that it?
God.
God. That's it. Any questions on that? We went over a little bit. Anything?
Hey, I was gonna say one thing. It's on the chat. So to Brianna Freeter
Right.
on the chat. Can you give me Ecclesiastes 5:1? So this is for Brianna Freeter on the chat. Like, Con, like we get it, man. You're turned up. We're turned up too. Your zeal is burning. We see that, but one thing that you got to remember is, you know, you got the brothers up here that's teaching. You got brothers and sisters that's online that's listening, and you got to let them, like, you know, like somebody was saying on there, like, you got to let them, you know, take the notes and all that. You got to be more ready to hear than to just be, you know, just typing and all that. Just listen, because other brothers and sisters, they want to send in stuff too. You see what I'm saying? If they have a question or whatever. So like a lot of the stuff that you're putting is not even on point with what the class is being taught about. A lot of stuff you're putting is not even on point with what the class topic is.
Yeah, because,
so you're taking it off.
Yeah, because remember, you can't force. It says if a man forces you to walk with him a mile, go with him too. Well, you can't force anybody to do anything. That's why we went over to 1 Peter's, because nothing can be forced.
Yeah.
Nothing by constraint, right? The scriptures say, "Be not excessive towards any." What is Ecclesiasticus 34? But go to where he was going to go. Ecclesiasticus 5.
Read that.
Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 1.
Go ahead.
Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of the Most High.
Con, the scripture says keep your foot when you go into the house, right? So the same way you couldn't go to church back then, you couldn't go to the Christian church and the Catholic church, and while whoever's preaching, you couldn't just be there just blurting out stuff, and you can't do that here. It's the same process. Go ahead.
Yeah, because we just want to make sure that, and this is not attacking the person that.
No, not at all.
We just want to make sure that everybody is. Remember, we have a lot of new people on the chat, and we don't want there to be confusion where you're throwing something on the chat, and then we're saying one thing, but then you're saying something else. They're gonna have to try to decipher through what's real and what's not, and that's what the confusion comes from. So we just don't want that. We don't want the confusion to be there. Go ahead.
And be more ready to hear.
And right, so like you pulled perfect scripture. When y'all come on the chat, just remember that you're here to learn first. We don't mind the input. We don't mind y'all commenting. That's what it's there for.
Okay.
But it gotta stay. First and foremost, it gotta be respectful. All right. Y'all already know how we get down. Any disrespect, you're gone, deleted, bye, blocked. So it has to be respectful. If you want to ask a question, we have no problem with that. But if you're gonna jump on and just make a statement and criticize or try to teach through statements, that's not gonna work either. And remember, there are new people on the chat. There are new people watching. So we want to make sure that there's no confusion and different mind states and thought processes being put on the chat. So, that's all it is. Again, we don't mind y'all commenting.
Yeah.
We don't mind brothers and sisters commenting. We want to keep it light on the chat. It ain't got to be all super serious either.
Yeah, we like the interaction.
Yeah, the interaction is good. We like like you said, the zeal, the fact that y'all are turned up and engaged. Mm-hmm. But make sure you're engaged in a way where now you're not so busy typing away that it's throwing other people off. Remember, Israel got a short attention span. Israel's brain is like a car wheel, right? It's like an axle wheel. It just be flipping from one thought process to the next, one thought to the next. And if we're interjecting a bunch of different thoughts in one instance, then it breeds confusion. So we just want to be careful.
God.
I don't realize. Yeah, everyone sees every. It says I don't see the comments on the screen. Yeah, everyone sees the chat. The live chat is open for all to see. So I can see it. He can see it. They can see it on the computer. Everybody here can see it. Everyone online can see it. The live chat is open. That's why, again, we got to be considerate of the new people that are coming on, just learning, trying to understand who they are.
Right.
We just don't want there to be confusion. All right. Again, we appreciate the comments. We appreciate the questions. We appreciate when y'all throw the scriptures in. We're not tripping on that. It's y'all's Bible too. It ain't just my Bible. Like, don't put no scripture. But it got to be on point.
Yeah.
It got to be on point, and it got to be. You got to understand what you're putting in, because If you put the wrong information, go to James 3:1 real quick. If you put the wrong information, you're going to be held accountable. James 3:1.
James chapter 3 verse 1.
Right?
My brethren,
Right?
be not many masters,
Right?
knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation.
When they talk about many masters, when they came up to Yahushua and called him master, what were they calling him? What's that substitute? What's that word substitute for? Teacher. It said, be not many teachers, knowing that you'll do what?
That we shall receive the greater condemnation.
Right, because if you're throwing out the wrong information on the chat, the wrong scriptures, the wrong understanding of things, if a person grabs onto that and runs with it, that's your bad. You'll receive that condemnation for their them being misguided by you. So leave the teaching to us, and as you because this might be your first time online with us, the name looks unfamiliar, but as you continue to come with that willing spirit to learn, that willing spirit to grow, you'll be able to interject and it'll be right on point. You'll be able to throw scriptures out there, you'll be right along with us, but give yourself a chance to grow. That way you don't mislead anyone accidentally. Remember, you offend a little one, they said it's better that you cast a millstone around your neck and throw yourself in the ocean. Right? So you just don't want to fall into that boat even unintentionally. All right? So we'll leave it at that. We thank y'all for joining us. They'll be back live in VA tomorrow. With that, we'll say shalom.
Shalom.
Who's turned up?
Rock. The Most High is my rock. In the name of Messiah, the Most High is my rock. Rock. The Most High is my rock. My rock. The Most High is my rock. Yeah. The Most High is my rock. I keep my Bible on top. The Most High is my rock. No time for cupcake and the cutting. Hit the streets and start cutting. The Israelites are bubbling. The Israelites are coming. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. You can keep the stuffing. It's pagan, disdain, it's vain, it's nothing. The European Union about to hit the button, and I feel sorry for you.